All right, let's try this again. Perfect. Okay, so before I went live on the other video, I made sure that I put the chat to be open. I wanted the chat open and it wasn't, YouTube did not honor my request, so I had to delete the old upload and remake the same video, same title and everything, and then put open chat. So for those of you who go on this video live and you are in the chat, I do have the power to remove any spam or any comments I do not like. So be very careful because I will be watching that chat and everything else on my channel like I always do. So this morning, I'm going to be talking about something very close to my heart and really giving my thoughts about what happened yesterday with Kanye, amongst other things. You know, I'm really just like, whew, yesterday, let me clean the camera. One second, let me just clean my camera real quick. Now, yeah, it's clearer. So yesterday was a lot, okay? Yesterday was a lot. And honestly, I'm just like, life. There's so much I want to say, but I do have to get a drink for myself. It's early in the morning. And I'm sure I'm going to be talking for a good amount of time on this video. So let me just get myself a drink. Yeah, actually probably put my camera down. So it's a wake-up call for sure. I think that anybody who can't see that is sleeping, really. Everything in America. Oh, thank you so much for the happy birthday, love. Thank you so much. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate that. I really do. I had the best birthday week ever, by the way. I feel like 22. I'm past 22 now, but in my body, I feel like I'm 22. Everybody has told me that I'm aging in reverse. I'm literally aging in reverse. And ever since I think I was like 17, before I started my spiritual journey, left the church, all this stuff, I didn't know much about affirmations, but I do say affirmations over myself. You know, I do say things like, I will never age. I'm forever 21. You know, I do say those things over myself. So the fact that I look better than even when I was 21 and I feel better and it's like I just don't change is just a testament to how I feel on the inside out, because how you feel on the inside will be a representation on the outside, right? Your environment, how you look, how you feel, how you walk, how you talk. So I just think, not only God, the ultimate source, but I thank myself for having the knowledge and, and being willing to not accept the whole term of aging, basically. So I'm going to put this in my drink. So truthfully, you all, I think that whether you agree with everything Kanye has said or not, I have seen people from all over the world, all walks of life, who literally are like, this man is right. A lot of things that he said is right. Okay, a lot. And I'm not talking about his remarks necessarily. I'm talking about things that he has stated about the industry, who controls the industry, who is pushing these negative stereotypes about certain groups of people in the media. Okay, these are all facts. And I have not seen not one celebrity, not one person say that he is not telling the truth. I've heard people say that maybe he's a loudmouth. I've heard people say maybe he's ignorant, or no, not ignorant, arrogant, haughty, egotistical. But truthfully, if you pay attention, y'all, I have not seen not one person say that he's lying. Not one. And I don't know if you all know this, but I did not know that people own slaves. I did not know that. Did you all know that those people owned a lot of slaves? Like slaves, black slaves? I did not know that. So even though I've covered these topics on my channel for years, I have made videos about people that are speaking out against trafficking and all types of stuff, how they're just disappearing one by one, being labeled suicidal, being labeled all these things, but yet right before they go, they're exposing these people. So no, I'm not okay with the fact that this has been carrying on for years. And I have to agree with Kanye in the fact that every single time somebody gets to a milestone or achieves something in life, the marker is moved again. Just like how college wasn't a thing. Not to put too much in this video, but many people, I'm just gonna put it this way. My family, my mother's side of the family, multimillionaires, self-made millionaires, that runs in my blood. So entrepreneurship is who I am. I have never liked the idea of working for somebody. It makes my skin crawl. It makes me nauseous, literally. The whole concept to me is phony because I know that I was not created to work for somebody else, and especially not in an environment where I have to request vacation. I have to answer to a boss. No, that will never be me. And even now that I have graduated college, I cannot change what's in my DNA. I cannot change my family tree. So a lot of things that a lot of celebrities who have come up from nothing to something, I may not agree. I may not agree with the way they deliver things or the way that they are, especially if, like, for example, when Kanye was attacking his own family, I don't agree with that. But the fundamentals, the basics of what he's saying is true. So to me, I'm like, okay, well, I knew that. I knew a lot of stuff about that. But then when the curtain was completely open, like yesterday was just like so eye-opening to me because I got to see people's reaction. I got to see people stand up for Kanye and say, this is the fact. Like, this is a fact. Like, this is happening for like decades. And we're not going to deny that there is a hierarchy system. We're not going to deny that there are certain people who have more power, who are controlling certain celebrities' contracts. We're not going to act like this don't exist. Come on. We're not going to act like that. So I think originally, I came on here being professional, like, oh, he shouldn't have said that, because he shouldn't have. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like you don't have to go on the world stage and declare that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, maybe that's what he felt he had to do. Doesn't mean that it was going to help him in the end. So that is unfortunate. But at the same time, I'm like, you know what? After yesterday settled down and social media was more calm, right? I took a good hard look at it. And I'm like, you know what? This is the moment that I think we've all been waiting for. Everybody who's not in the top 1 to 5%, with a certain skin color. We've been waiting for this. I think that this is actually what we all needed to wake people up that this is rigged. Everything is rigged. Whether you're white, black, as long as you don't go for their system, as long as you go against evil in this world, you are taken out of here. It's not an if, but, or and. It's a fact. From Princess Diana to Avicii to Michael Jackson to Whitney Houston, everybody who stands for substance. Britney Spears was put in a conservatorship, and she was always, her old managers and staff always said that Britney was always giving back to the poor. Okay, Britney is a very pure-hearted woman. So you have to understand that the industry does not want certain people to succeed. And what I'm not gonna do is sit up here and act like that's not true, because that is true. And that's taking away everything he said so-called anti-Semitic. I'm talking about the basis of what he was getting at. The basis of what Kanye was getting at is the systematic powers that be. It's in the college system. It's in corporate America. It's in the workplace. It's in Hollywood. What people are not gonna do is act like this is not happening. So, like I said yesterday, a lot of the reaction was mixed. From all walks of life, people's reactions were different. You know, some people's feelings changed over time. I think that my feelings changed a little bit over time, because the more information that I was seeing about how they own slaves and all that, I didn't know that. I did not know that. And then I saw factual information about the people who own Google, Disney, YouTube even. They're all the same. So I'm like, wait, so if all of them are the same, and all of them, like, let's say for an example, Whoopi Goldberg, she made a comment, and not too long ago, she was almost fired from her job. And she's one of the most popular hosts on the whole TV program. So they don't care about what the public cares about. All they care about is pushing a certain agenda and making sure that certain monopoly men have power. That's it. You know, even with Trump, like, a lot of things that he's done, a lot of things that he stands for, I don't agree with. But what we cannot deny is that even Trump exposed the media in a lot of ways. So to me, I'm like, how long can this continue? You know, how long can this continue? Why it's like, to me, the way I feel is like, why participate in a game that you know is rigged? Why participate? When I don't like something, when I don't like a job, when I don't tolerate disrespect and I have other options, I'm not going to stay. You see what I'm saying? I'm not going to stay in an environment where I feel like I'm being treated poorly. I don't care who's trying to mess with me. I don't care. Like, I'm the kind of person where I don't stand for that. My life is too precious. My energy is too precious. I'm not going to waste my time. And quite frankly, you know, this is why, even though some other celebrities, I'm just going to give an example, like Meghan Markle, you know, there is some people that I think are narcissistic. And even with that, I can still see how the system plays them. You know, and this is why I was one of the many few people to say, even though she did a lot of bad things and she was disrespectful to the queen and she couldn't conduct herself, does not mean that she was not having a mental health crisis, does not mean that they did not reject help for her. Two things can still exist. Two things can still be true at the same time, people. So this is how I'm thinking, like, okay, I'm seeing a pattern. I'm seeing a pattern. And truthfully, growing up, I have my own stories. I have my own experiences with certain people, and they do act superior. And certain people do have a lot of power they should not have. So what we're not going to do is act like what he said is not true, because a lot of it is true. A lot. And I just think the fact that all these people around him are fake. You know, you married Kim Kardashian. Kim Kardashian never really cared about you. It's obvious. She used you for some black kids. You know, the other day I was on nordstorm.com, and 𝒸𝒶 Kardashian, her business, Good American, came up as black owned. You heard that right, and I have proof. Her products came up on nordstorm.com as black owned. Now, what about 𝒸𝒶 Kardashian is black? So these same people that Kanye is talking about is using these black children as a come up. And then in the same breath, they want to say that they're not that they want to put down black people, but yet our features, our music, our culture, our looks, our voices, everything about a black person, they want to purchase, they want to buy, but they don't want to be us. So I'm confused. Like, where does this stop? Where does this stop? And so it's no wonder why I had a dream a couple days before all this went down. I literally had a dream about Kanye West disappearing. And then I see him talking about disappearing. So that is a red flag to me. That is a huge red flag. What that tells me is that he senses that something was coming. He clearly saw and felt that, okay, I'm next. If I don't bow down to these people, if I don't follow what they tell me to do, I'm out of here. That's basically what he's saying. So to me, that's what I see. Let me get some water. That's what I see. And that's what I know. That's what I see. That's what I know. And it's tragic because, in fact, yesterday I saw this video. I am not subscribed to this guy's channel, but I saw a video trending on Twitter, and it was talking about it was a hypothetical video, and it was saying why the title said why Kanye West is right. And I said, what? An Asian man. Asian. And it had over 5,000 likes, over like 34,000, over 47,000 views. By the time I finished watching it, it jumped from 34 to 47,000 views. And everybody in the comment section was like, he's right. He's right. Nobody has said he's wrong in that context of the system. So if an Asian brother can see that and can call it out and put his own channel on the line, I have to respect that. He put his own channel on the line. I didn't even do that. You know what I'm saying? At the time that I made my first video yesterday, I didn't really know what to think because I couldn't, everything was happening so fast that I'm just like, what did he do? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what did he do? Why did he do this? Let me get some more ice. And then later on in the day, to see him saying that, well, for the press to say that he's no longer a billionaire, I said, oh no, this is all a setup. And how does somebody lose their so much wealth in a day? Like how is like, it's just like, whoa, you know? So he's not the only one, you know what I'm saying? He's not the only one, I'm sure, that has experienced this. There has been other black celebrities who've spoken out for years now. They've also been blackballed. So what does that tell you? You know? And so what is so important that I want to say in this video is that this is why people have to work for themselves. You know? People need to work for themselves. I don't know what else, I don't know what else we could do. You know, there's nothing else that I see that would really be beneficial. Because when you're in partnerships or when you're working for somebody else, they have a weird amount of power where they can make you or break you. And that's never a good position to be in. You always want to have options. You always want to be able to do your own thing. And so this is why I said yesterday that it is a possibility that he could come back. You know, it's a possibility that he could come back even stronger if he understands the game that's been played against him. And if he plays his cards right, he could come back even stronger. I saw even white people on Twitter saying that he should own a factory. He should buy some ships. Why is he, you know, why did he leave the productivity line to them? He should have his own factory. He should have his own distribution. White people were telling him advice. So don't be fooled. Y'all, like, don't think that people out here don't see what's happening. People see what's happening, but they don't want to speak about it because they're scared. They know what can happen to them, so they don't say nothing. But at the end of the day, I did my research. I've had personal experiences myself. And a lot of what he's saying is true. So to me, the writing's on the wall. And I think especially for people who are, you know, not considered the majority or even the rich minority in America, have to go their own way. People have to go their own way. Stop being allowed to be treated like trash. You know, stop thinking small. Think big. Now, if Kanye goes off to make his own factory and then they try to shut him down with a factory, what does that tell you? You know, if he now takes his own money, if Kanye takes his own money and reinvests in his brand and himself, and then they try to put some kind of tariff on him or whatever, what would that tell you? That would show you that no matter what he does, no matter where he goes, they don't want him to succeed. They don't want him to succeed. That's what it would tell me. So the likes of Meghan Markle is the exception. She's one of the whitest black women I've ever seen. Okay, she never even claimed to be black. So I hate when people put Meghan Markle up in that because she's on a different wavelength right now. She chose to marry a white prince. Okay, that is something that I, you know, but I'm talking about the average Joe in Hollywood. I'm talking about people who are coming up in Hollywood, right? And they have their brand, they have their little, you know, they have their power to some degree, and they want to, you know, flourish in life. Not so much royalty. They just want to survive. They just want to be creative, you know? And it's a shame that people aren't supporting him in that way for that reason, because that is a fact. That is a fact. And all you got to do is look at all the countless celebrities who've been taken out of here, who've been silenced, who've been blackballed. All you got to do is just research it. Like, that's all you have to do, you know? You know, who am I? And even when I've talked about certain subjects on YouTube, the monetization button wasn't so easy at times. So They know who speaks truth. They know who can help push a community forward. And as soon as they find that, they want to tear the person down. That's all it is. Yes, I don't think that Kanye was very smart to say what he said, but it doesn't mean that what he said or some things he said wasn't true. That two things can exist at the same time. And majority of the public, from what I saw, was agreeing with him, was saying he's right. I hardly saw anybody say that he's wrong and that he's not saying the truth. I didn't see that. I didn't see anybody say that he's lying. Yeah, they called him crazy. Yeah, they called him stupid, but I ain't never seen nobody say that he lied. I didn't see it yesterday. So to me, that says a lot. And of course, the only people who are disagreeing with him is who he's talking about. Duh. But everybody else is like, well, yeah, these companies are run by the same people. And they're driving everybody out. They're driving everybody out of affordable living and all types of stuff. Buying up property, buying up stores. They're doing a lot of back of wall stuff, guys. So, why do they have all these liquor stores? Why do they have all this influence when it wasn't requested? Nobody even knows where y'all came from. Like, no, like, come on. No. So to me, this just further proves my point, for myself. Like, for myself, this just further proves my point, is that I have never, ever wanted to work for somebody else. I have always been the person to say, I don't want to work for anybody, because they have, it becomes a monopoly. It becomes a monopoly where they think they can control you. And tell you what to say and how to tap dance and how to jig. And, it's unfortunate, but this is their game. This is their game. And everywhere you go, there's traps. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of white people agree. You see what I'm saying? I saw a lot of white people on Twitter saying, I can just tell y'all this. When I grew up in high school, high school, I have had white colleagues and students from growing up that would tell me about those people. And I'm not saying who I'm talking about, because I could be saying the Illuminati. I could be saying a lot of different things. I could be saying a lot of different groups. I'm just putting it out there. And they liked me. They liked that I was always business minded. I did grow up in a very affluent community. So I rubbed shoulders with people who knew a lot of people. I'll just put it that way. And they would always tell me, be careful of those people, because they're the real threat. They're the ones who are pulling the puppet strings. And come to find out, they were right all along. And now that especially Black Americans, I'm European Black, but I'm still Black. Especially for Black African Americans, now that they really see what's happening, they don't want people to know. Let's be real. Now that people, all walks of life, right, are finally getting their own money, having their own business, right, moving up in society, all of a sudden, you're seeing people drop like flies, people disappearing, planes disappearing, even white tycoons just disappearing, because they're doing something right. And as soon as they do something right, they want to take them out of here. And it happens every single time. So how can you say that it's not true when there is a pattern? When there is a systematic pattern with so many people Not just Black African American and not just Kanye. There is a pattern across the board that if you do not push drugs, if you do not push pedophilia, if you do not push all these things, you can't be in this clique. You can't be in this club. If you're not with our agenda, you can't stay here. And like I said yesterday, Kim Kardashian is supposed to love this man. This is a man that is a father of her 4 kids, and she goes and has dinner with Ivanka Trump. Are you kidding me? And we all know that Ivanka Trump's husband is what he is. So is Kanye West gonna be in a conservatorship like Britney Spears? What's gonna happen here? Do y'all see what's happening here? So I'm like, this is crazy. How can Kim, I'm sorry, but how can Kim really love this man, want to protect this man, and then go and have dinner with the enemy? How is that? How can she do that? How can she do that when she knows what he's saying is true to some degree? Like, how can you do that? So I'm like, no. You have a whole group of people for thousands of years, hundreds of years, who've been oppressed. And then as soon as somebody speaks out about it, they're crazy, right? And yes, sometimes Kanye is crazy. I said that. I think that a lot of times some things he says is crazy. But it does not mean that it's okay. It doesn't mean that it's okay. And what Kim Kardashian has to understand is that she has Black children. She don't have fully Armenian children. She has Black children. Yes, they're mixed, but they're Black. They're Black. You see what I'm saying? So how are you going to raise your children when your ex-husband is dead? Because that's where he's going. All the writing on the wall is there, I'm telling you. You know what I'm saying? All the writing on the wall is there that this man is heading for a grave. And I may not like everything he says. I don't like the fact that Kanye said that slavery was a choice. It clearly was not. Nobody chooses to get beaten. Nobody chooses to get raped. So it's obviously not a choice. Like, clearly it's not a choice, but he said what he said. He never apologized. And this is why a lot of Black people don't like him and don't support him, because what he said was ridiculous and everybody knows that. And so I have to question why he said that. I have to question why he thought that was okay to say. And then in the same breath, he wants to turn around and say, I'm being attacked and all this, but then you want to attack your own people. So it's weird to me. It is weird to me. But I just think that all the information about them owning slaves, even more than the white people of that day, they owned a lot of slaves. And I didn't even know that. I did not even know that. And I had to do some research, and they were explaining how it's almost like they really own America. Like, it gets pretty deep, you know what I'm saying? So the evidence is there. The evidence is there. And if people want to just judge Kanye but not look at what he's saying, you're missing out. Because that's how I was. At first, I was just like outraged. I'm like, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? But then I had to stop and say, okay, well, let's do some research. And as I researched it, I'm like, wait, hold up. These people own this. I said, what? Oh, okay, well, that makes perfect sense why he said that. And so it's not even just like white people per se. You see what I'm saying? They're the real ones behind that, using people to do their dirty work. That's what's happening. So to me, I'm like, well, there's a pattern here. There is a pattern here. You see what I'm saying? So the only way out of this matrix, the only way to real freedom that I see it economically is to work for yourself. As long as you answer to one of their companies, one of their agendas, one of their bosses, one of their CEOs, as long as you report to somebody else, you don't really have freedom. You punch in when they say, you punch out when they say, you go on vacation when they say, you are like a slave. You're not a human being. 97 to 99.9% of people do not have their own life. I want that to sink in, because that's what's sunk in with me. And I've always known this, but it's only, I can't even I can't even describe in words the way I really want to. It's like after everything got more settled, right? And the Donda Sport news came out and everybody was reacting to the Donda Sport news, sports news. It was like this light bulb went off my head, like, oh my God, this is what we've all been waiting for. To expose the Illuminati, to expose the handlers of this country, to expose what's been happening to most people and why they can't get economically free, and why no matter how hard they work, white, black, and indifferent, their wages are not going up. They're getting pushed out of housing opportunities. Their income has not gone up. Who are these people? Who are the people behind the curtain? Who are the people behind the curtain? That's what came to me yesterday night. And I said, okay, this is what's happening. This is what's going on. And like I said, the only way that you are 100% free of your time, your energy, able to create a legacy is through your own ideas and your own money and your own businesses and your own investments. Working a 9-to-5 job, even working for a big corporation these days, is not going to make you wealthy. It's not going to put you on game or anything, because as soon as you get in, you're exposed to a lot of craziness. And this is why a lot of people in Hollywood are drug addicts and they're traumatized and they have all these mental health issues, because they can't take it. Their body is not designed for that high level of evil. Once their soul, their conscious kicks in, it's like a chain reaction, And if they have a soul, they're not gonna want to push, violence and drugs, and at some point it gets old. Why can't rappers rap about building wealth? Why do these rappers have to rap about infidelity and everything else? Why are they trained to do that? Why are pop star girls, the whole thing reeks. The whole thing reeks. You see what I'm saying? So when it comes to the mainstream media, when it comes to people who are put on, are held up in society, pushed in the media, there's always an agenda. There's always something behind that. Always, most likely. So to me, it just confirmed everything that I've ever thought from when I was 7 years old to the age I am now, in my 20s, my mid-20s. And I'm just like, what if everything your parents told you was wrong? Or a lot of things that your parents told you was wrong about the corporate world and about America? What if a lot of things that we were taught or were told to believe were not true? A lot of people would go the other way. A lot of people would start to wake up and say, you know what, I don't want to spend 8 to 10 hours in an office making just above minimum wage to pay rent. You know, this is the same cycle that they're trying to push everybody in. This spell, this zombie-like spell. And unless you're one of them, you're stuck. So what does that tell you? You know, if you're not up in Silicon Valley, if you're not up in these headquarters making all these weird deals, doing all these rituals, you're not getting in their club. You know, and who wants to be in their club? But I'm just saying, like, you're not going to get that kind of freedom in that sense unless in everyday life you commit to having your own garden, to having your own income, and eventually weaning yourself off the system. That's the only way that I see it. I don't see it any other way. In fact, I was just watching a video yesterday night about, and by the way, I just want to put this out here. If this video gets monetized, it'd be a miracle, y'all. And y'all already know that. Because I'm thinking right now, like, how is this video going to get monetized? But you know what? This video needs to be out here. So whatever. Whatever. I was watching two videos yesterday night about the housing crisis in America. And people are paying $4,000, $8,000 for a shoebox. And then I had another epiphany. I'm like, wait, okay. Everything I heard earlier, everything I'm watching, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I got it. And then I'm like, wait, this reminds me of like the Sims game. Because a lot of things are hidden in cartoons and video games. A lot of truth is hidden in those places. Movies, you know. I'm like, okay, this reminds me of the Sims game, where you have a bunch of rich celebrities or whatever, businessmen. You have all these people at the top, and they buy out all the good property, and then they push everybody else in a shoebox. Who's to say that these people, these people who are behind the curtain or whatever, who is to say that they're not the ones who eventually want to cut down society, want to cut down the population? Have they not been pushing that out here for the past couple of like 3 years, or if not more? Have they not been trying to shrink the population? I mean, think about it. And then I'm like, wait, okay, so who's to say that they're not those same people, or these different people that, you know, I'm talking about, and these places of control that are that's their whole plan. That is their whole goal is to starve you until you can't even eat or sleep anywhere. That's the whole point. Until they make living so unaffordable that they said that the new stat is working over 100 hours a week, to afford rent in New York City, amongst other key cities in America. Not even humanly possible. So I was like, okay, what if this is not their plan all along? Is that they want to push people off the deep end. They want people to not survive so that they can now come back and go into all these popular cities and run amok. Have all their expensive cars, have their sky-high penthouses, and look down on the rest of us peasants. You know, that is the whole point. Because you know, and I know, that humanly, you cannot work over 100 hours and have a healthy, decent life. It's not possible. And maybe I'm just thinking a little bit bigger, but something said to me within myself, what if that's the whole point? What if that's the whole point? Like a rat to a piece of cheese. Like, give you a little bit just to survive and nibble on, but then come in. They're going to come right back in and say, we're going to seize all this property. We're going to seize downtown. We're going to seize Brooklyn. We're going to seize Queens. We're going to seize Manhattan. We're going to go in all these so-called once popular places, and we're going to build it into our offices, our penthouses, our automobile residences, garages. We're going to take over it all. We're going to take over it all. We're going to push you out of your housing. We're gonna raise every single thing from bread to milk to eggs to gas. I sat there and watched over probably an hour and 25 minutes worth of footage of real New York people from New York talking about the living conditions. And other states in America, but New York was one of the key ones because that's where it's very metropolitan. And it was a white man who, not that it matters, but in the context it matters, he was showing his office. His office was, I kid you not, was a cubicle in his own apartment building. And he had his printer and his computer in a box. I kid you not. I kid you not. And I said, what? And as he was working, fax printer here, computer here, all the little cords and all the computer stuff. And as soon as he turned around, there was a janitor. There was a cleaner that came through, mopping the floor. And he turned around and said, the white guy turned around and said, I'm trying to work here. And I said, this cannot be life. And you can only imagine what he's paying for rent. So I said, okay, forget it. Forget it. This is their plan. I'm going to go as far as say this is what they want. They don't want you to live comfortably. They don't want people to actually have anything to own. Didn't the World Economic Forum already say that they are trying to get to a point where nobody owns anything and they'll be happy about it? I mean, they're putting it in people's faces at this point. They're putting it like right in your face, and they're like, this is what we're going to do to you. If our plan succeeds by whatever timeline, this is how you're going to live. If you don't push back and gain some knowledge and gain some wisdom and wake the hell up, this is going to be your life. And that's a white man. So if people want to put it in context, this is not just like, this is somebody who married, like that should not be happening. So I'm like, you know what? This is what they want. And to me, it's just clear as day. Like, it's going to get to a point, like they said, where only the super rich can afford it, or certain people that are qualified and meet the requirements can get in those places. The regular people, everybody else, you can't go there. You once could live there 5-10 years ago. Now you can't. Now you gotta work 100+ hours to afford the same shoebox that you were paying $2,000 for, or even $1,200 for, even $1,000 for back in the day. Now it's $4,000 to $8,000. And I know that people cannot afford that. Ain't nobody can afford $4,000, $8,000 rent. So that within itself is rigged, because if that's what you're paying for rent and you're on a fixed salary, let's just say hypothetically you have no extra income, you have no passive income, you have no investments, you have nothing whatsoever. Yeah, it is ridiculous. Even 900 is ridiculous. It is. You're not, how can you move up the ladder to home ownership? How can you then own a piece of property if you can't even afford rent? It's all designed to keep you suppressed. Every single one of us. That is not who these certain people are behind the curtain, who pull the strings and hire the puppets and hire the handlers and hire the masters to do. That's all it is. And some people are still stuck in the whole thing of color. We've got to move beyond that to some point and look at the system. That's also a part of it. So I am just connecting the dots. I am just simply connecting the dots. If you can't afford rent, like I said, the more woman the more certain ethnic groups, the more certain people in general, just basically what they used to ban, now it's not banned, the more people achieve, the more the goalpost was here. Okay, you meet the goalpost here, they move it up again. Every time you think that you're there, they move it. Every single time. Every single time. First, it was you need a bachelor's degree. Everybody get a bachelor's degree. Trust the bachelor's degree. Go in debt. Take these little stupid exams. Graduate. Blah, blah, blah. And then what was it next? Oh, no. You need a master's. If you want to make over $15, $16 an hour in America, you need to get a master's degree. Who do you think you are with your little bachelor's degree? Go back to spend $4,000, $5,000, $50,000, $60,000 more, plus, depending upon your area of study, if you want to be a lawyer, doctor, forget it. You're going to be $500,000 in debt by the time you're done. Go back and get a master's. Didn't we tell you? Your bachelor's, you can't get it. You can't get a actual salary that's worth a damn on a bachelor's degree. Oh, you're so funny. Go back and get a master's degree. You silly. Every single time you get there, they move it up again. It's rigged. It's completely rigged. And I'm not just saying that. It is rigged. It is rigged on every level. Because if you don't have the information, you don't have the money, you damn sure don't have the societal power or power structure or whatever else, the connections, where are you really going in life? See, this is why people are talented on YouTube. This is why people are talented in the music industry, but they never get anywhere. Artists, musicians, writers, poets, actors, this is why certain people can have all the talent in the world and they will never get anywhere. Because they're not a part of that clique. They were not born with a silver or gold spoon in their mouth. They don't have the privileges that others have. So no matter how intelligent some people right now as I'm speaking are out there in the world working jobs that are beneath them. Why? They're working the job because they have to survive. They got to put a roof over their head. So they can't just go off and say, okay, I'm going to be an entrepreneur now. I'm going to go try to be a singer now. No, the bills don't stop. Do the bills ever stop? We had 2+ years of pandemic and not one bill was stopped. Not one. I looked at it. You know what I'm saying? Nobody ever came out and said, okay, people are dropping like flies. Our population is a lot of it is gone. Young, old, in between. And we're not going to pause not one bill, not one gas bill, not one water bill, nothing. We're just going to keep the bills coming in and compound the pressure and compound the stress and compound the depression until you choke, until you're choking so bad that no matter what plans you had, all that's down the drain. And then they tell you, go back to university, go back to the institution and pay more money to get in more debt to get a sucky job. That's what they're basically telling people. Just work harder. Just make more money. You know, just keep doing more and more and more and more until you don't even recognize yourself. Until you don't even know who's in the mirror. Until you've lost your soul, basically, working for them. Or their handlers. Or the people behind the curtain who really run the show. So that's how I see it. That is how I see it. And I really think that if people are going to be blindfolded and are not going to look at the reality of what he was saying, Kanye was saying, and they're not going to look deeper at what's happening to this country, they're never going to get it. They may get it when it's too late, but they're never going to get it. You know, me personally, For those who don't know where I'm coming from, I went to college. You see what I'm saying? I come from two parents and a lineage of people who are educated, and their sense of the word educated. But I will never get into debt. I will never willingly get into debt for any of these programs. I don't care. I had to do what I had to do at points, but some people are really going off the deep end and they're so sucked into the lie. And they can't see that you cannot file for bankruptcy on student loans. Yeah, Biden is trying to, well, we'll see how that goes, because right now they're saying that, people are fighting him in court. But a lot of people, what's so sad about it? The 20,000, the 30,000, 20 plus 10, okay, 30,000 that he, or whatever that they're claiming, or breaking up, either 10,000, 20,000 you're going to get off, whatever. For a lot of Americans, that is not even half their debt. A lot of people are $100,000 plus in debt, and they're looking at 20,000 and 10,000 as a joke because they didn't spend that money in college. They spent way over that. And so even though it sounds nice, it sounds pretty, they're not going to really benefit, because they're like, well, what about the other $80,000 I got to owe back to the institution that lent me the money? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? I'm trying to be a doctor here. I got to go back to medical school. I got to get my residency. I got to get my blah, blah, blah. I don't have the money, bro. It's a game. You don't see it's a game. So me personally, this is why I could never. My parents were very strict growing up. So when it comes to education, their fake education, I had to go. You see what I'm saying? I was too far in where every time I wanted to stop, I couldn't. I was a great student, whatever. But would I get into debt? Would I willingly get into debt for that shit? Hell no. Hell to the no. Hell to the no. So for me, what Biden is proposing with the 20,000, 10,000, whatever, for me, that will work, because I wasn't blindfolded. You see, I was not tricked. Every time I had to talk to my financial advisor, whatever, in college, I wasn't buying their bullshit. I wasn't buying their garbage. I would look them in the face and say, I'm not going to be stuck because of this degree. I'm sorry. I don't care what y'all tell me, because Kanye dropped, and I'm not saying it's a good thing, but a lot of celebrities did not finish college, or they dropped out, or don't even have a degree. A lot of celebrities that are rich, it's not their degree. Let me put it in plain English. It's not their degree that made them multimillionaires. It's their connections. It's their family lineage. It's their status in Hollywood. It's not their degree, for God's sake. So you're telling you're brainwashing all these people to believe that all they got to do is go to Yale, Stanford, Harvard, all this bullshit, and they'll be like them. It's a lie. It is a bold-faced lie. That is a long shot. Most of those kids come from politicians. Even Obama's kids went to those kind of universities because they can afford it. But the average person, the average family cannot. And so why are you even going to try to lie to yourself? Oh, well, I got a scholarship of $7,000. $7,000 cannot cover a $100,000 degree, honey. If you're over 100K in debt, and even if you're the best case scenario, you're getting a scholarship, it's still not going to cover all your fees, and you're still going to get stuck. So what does that tell you? And what's so sick about it is we all of us, we drive by universities, we drive by schools. These are now the way I see it is these are all prison camps, bro. These are all programming centers. Because from when your kid is a toddler, a young child, they're telling your child to go sit in a classroom and be taught bullshit. They're not teaching your child how to make generational wealth. They're not teaching your child how to invest. All they're teaching your child is how to be a worker, how to be a slave. That's all they're doing. That's all they've ever done. And what happens is the boomer generation with Gen Z and millennials, they've just spewed out their same garbage to the next generation. That's all they've done. All they've done is tell you the same thing that they were indoctrinated with. And then you wonder why your family's not rich. And then you wonder why certain people can never get ahead. Because they believe, they've been brainwashed to believe it. If I just get this degree, I'll be like Kim Kardashian. I will have the connections just like them one day. Says who? Says who? In what universe? How many people are fighting for the same job? How many people are fighting for the same house in California? Like, it never ends, bro. It just never ends. And so for me, if y'all want to know the truth, for me, Biden's student loan forgiveness, if that issue is even legit, if it's even legit, we'll see. We'll see. It works for me. But it's a damn shame that for the other 70+% of people that went to college, it don't apply to. They're saying that 20,000 or 10,000 is not enough because their debt is over 50,000, 60. I mean, they're like, well, even if I get 20,000 in student loan forgiveness, I still can't pay back the other 80,000 or $111,000. So how am I going to get ahead? And nobody can tell me that I'm lying because I have personal friends who are in those big schools, and I have a lot of, and they're $500,000 in debt. $500,000. I'm telling you. So this is the biggest lie ever told. And, you know, I want to believe so badly, you all, that God is a loving God. The person who made us on this planet, I want to believe that, but then I'm like, you know what? The Bible speaks about this. The Bible speaks about how I have made good and evil. He said that. God said that he has made all things. So he is responsible. It is responsible for everything happening right now. And the way I feel about it is, okay, well, how come we keep having more people get in on this planet and all they are is work slaves? You know, when they were a child, they had dreams, they had goals. But as soon as they get indoctrinated to go to all this stuff, go through all these programs, they lose themselves. They die inside. They're hollow. They're not motivated, you know? And that happens to majority of people. And unless you get a lucky break, or you know something that people don't know, or whatever, or you read a certain book, or you whatever, you ain't ever getting out of that shit. You stuck like Chuck until you're dead because you don't have the information and the power that these motherfuckers have. That's what it comes down to. That's what it comes down to. So, yeah, you can try to climb that corporate ladder all you want, but you're still not going to be rich. A job is not going to make nobody rich. And if you do get rich, it's in retirement. It's when you're 60 plus, when you can't even walk no more. You can't even take a shit no more. You can't even speak no more. You old. You gray. How is that life? How is this life? That can't be life. That can't be life to me. That you work hard for 60 plus years and you only get to enjoy that when you're in retirement. That is tragic to me. Tragic to me. So get debt free. The goal for myself, and I'm being so honest, is to be debt free, financially free, living in a way where I do not have to worry, right? Putting my money where it counts and where it matters. And I'm learning just like you all. I'm learning every day. I am sometimes up at night reading books on books, trying to figure this out because I'm like, I refuse to live this way. I absolutely refuse to live this way. I refuse. And I'm not being haughty, but like well, maybe I am for this sake of the video. I feel with them, I'm like, I was not designed to work a so-called job. Like, no, I was not designed to live that way when I know that there's so much more out here in the world and a different way to live. I don't accept that. I just will not accept it. So it's beyond a revolution. It's beyond protesting. It's way deeper than that. Way deeper than that. And as much as Kanye has said a lot of things that I think are wrong, he may be a martyr right now. He may just have to be a walking example, because he has shed a lot of light on things that I think people were just too frankly afraid to speak about. He has been fearless. I didn't say he's always been right, but he has been fearless in exposing the media. And he has been fearless in speaking about the inequality, especially that happens in America. So we know what's going on. A lot of people don't. A lot of people still think that making $14-12 an hour, is what they deserve. Nobody deserves that. No human being deserves to be living hand to mouth in poverty, in scarcity, scared for their life, scared for their next meal. Nobody should live like that. Nobody. And it just goes to show you, one billionaire really could have solved world hunger 20 times over by now. They could have solved world hunger already. But these pricks are so arrogant and so conceited that they want to keep all their money to themselves, and they want to have the middle class and the poor class help the lower. They want they in the middle class is dwindling. Even the upper middle class is dwindling by a lot. But their mentality is, and the way that they make it is, okay, well, the middle class should help the poor class. But the middle class ain't too far away from the poor. And the rich, the uber rich, are seated way above the middle class. And yet they don't want to help a damn thing. They could have fixed all this by now. Infrastructure, poverty, world hunger. Sorry, I'm back. I don't know if it was a Jehovah's Witness. All right, calm, baby, calm. I don't know if it was a Jehovah's Witness or a salesperson, but somebody came to my... Okay, Celine, calm down. Somebody came to my door asking me if I speak Spanish. These two older ladies, I don't know, probably they were selling something, I don't know. That was random. I told them I can speak Spanish, but I don't speak it fluently. They say, okay, bye, mommy. I said, bye. I don't know. I don't know if they were Christian. I don't know what they were. Could be evangelism. I don't know. But going back to what I was saying is that, they could have been fixed all these problems. That's the truth. That's the truth. World hunger, poverty, the crumbling infrastructure, the education. They could have been done all this for centuries. For centuries, actually. Going all the way back to the industrial revolution, and going all the way back to the industrial revolution and the industrial age. They could have been fixed all this, but they don't want to. And so what they do is they put it on the middle class, and the middle class is not, like I said, the middle class is not even too far from the poor class, at all. So my dog is guarding the house. Babe, calm down, babe, come. She's a good baby. So it gets to a point where you have to laugh. It's almost like when you go to a store and they say, would you like to donate to this and that? And you know what I used to say? I used to say, well, let a billionaire do it. Let a millionaire do it. They got the money. I ain't got the money for that. Like, you want the poor to help the poor, basically. And the middle class, the way it's set up, especially nowadays, they're not too far from the poor class at all. Like it's like one paycheck away, one job, job lost away, and they're right with the poor. So I mean, what can we really do? Like, it's a system. So Elon Musk, even Kanye, Kim Kardashian, Bill Gates, all Warren Buffett, all these people, they could have been fixed this. They could have been stood up for what's right and spoken out. But it reminds me of a video I saw where there was this millionaire who claimed that when he was trying to buy apartments and put a very low rent on it and help people, he claimed that he was stopped. I don't know how true that is, but this one millionaire, I saw this video where he was saying how he was trying to help people and the government stopped him. So, once again, who is behind the curtain? Who are the individuals or the freaking extraterrestrials that are doing this stuff? Who is really controlling this planet right now? You have to like really think about it. So the deception goes so deep, from politics, religion, government, the chemicalization of food, water, everything. They have their dirty hands in everything. Those behind the curtain and the puppet handlers and the puppet masters and the people that pull the strings, they have their hands in everything possible. And like I said, you're gonna get the F word. Don't want to curse. You're gonna get the F word either way. You're gonna get, mess with either way, but to what degree? When you have more knowledge and more income, obviously, you could do more. All money really is a tool. For some people, it's power and a tool, but for most people, it's just a tool. And once you have it, you have more freedom. That's all it is. But of course, there's gatekeepers in universities and job opportunities. There's gatekeepers everywhere. And if you don't assimilate, or if you're not a part of certain people or certain organizations or agendas, you're not going to get in. So that's why I'm saying I think that the only solution that I could see is people working for themselves, growing their own food, working within their neighborhoods, within their communities, what I'm saying, raising each other's kids, looking out for each other, like putting each other up on game. Like, that's the only way that people are really going to be able to make it through, because it is getting worse. It is getting worse. And they're poisoning the water, and they're poisoning people's minds, and it's just the whole infrastructure. It's a really deep problem. It's a really deep problem. So I just think that people, to me, it's like I said, I want to believe that the creator of this world is, good and loving, and there could be some creator out there like that, but I mean, how can you watch this all happen? And then once again, you want to blame people. You want to say, well, Adam and Eve sinned, and but who put the garden there? Who put them in the garden? If we want to talk about a biblical story, who put the apple tree there? They didn't put it there. Somebody else put it there. They were hungry. They just, they were curious. You see what I'm saying? But God, so-called God, knew that. You knew they were going to have the apple. You put it there. So it's always a catch-22. It's like they make you fall, but then they say, well, you should have not fallen. Well, the trap was there. You didn't warn me. You didn't educate me. So, is it really my fault? Is it really my fault? And that's why that whole concept of sin, or being born into sin, I never agree with, because I mean, you don't pick that. You don't pick that. So, even in that religious context, a lot of things about the world I think it's false. I think it's a bunch of BS, and it just once again puts this kind of guilty energy on humanity that doesn't deserve it. We don't deserve to feel that way. We don't deserve to feel like it's everything is our fault, like, because it's not. It's not. Some people, and even some people, they do bad things, not the rich, I'm saying like the regular folk, because sometimes they're pushed in a corner. They do things out of desperation. And so is it really their fault? Like, that's kind of how I see it sometimes too. So desperate times, desperate measures, and sometimes that's what happens. Not all of them. I'm just saying, like, sometimes people, they get tired, they get really tired. And the fact that some people have worked so hard and then they end up taking their own life just proves my point, that they can have all the fame, all the money, but something is still missing. They still feel like the life, the world they're living in is against them. No matter how hard they try, they feel like, I'm trapped. I'm trapped by peer pressure. I'm trapped by bills. I'm trapped by this. I mean, that's how people normally feel. That's how people normally feel. So I would say overall, take it easy. Take it easy. It is going to get worse in the world. That's a fact. But we got to be strong. We don't have a choice. Okay. And we have to just allocate our money. The money we do have, we have to allocate it in a certain way. We have to use it in a certain way. Like I said, the bills are not going to stop. People have to eat. So one sec, people have to eat. So regardless, some things are always going to be constant. Oh, sorry. So it's cold. So some things are always going to be constant. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know. The simulation theory to me makes a lot of sense. I was raised with the Bible and all that, but a lot of ish is just not right. And I think that, if what happened yesterday didn't show that and didn't wake people up, then what are they doing? They're probably zombies at this point. They're probably just, on auto at work, and they come home and they do the same thing every single day. Go to work, come home, eat, sleep. Go to work, come home, sleep, eat. I mean, they're slaves mentally and physically. They can't say that I want to go home. I want to be with my kids. I want to sleep all day. No, they gotta punch in. They gotta obey. How is that life? How is this life? So I don't know. I have always thought like this, when I was very young. Even when I grew up in church, I would always question the pastor and question his teachings. And I would always ask questions, and they always had a problem with it. Of course they did, And as I get older, I'm like, what? Not older. As I get wiser, I see that, I was right all along. Everything that society tried to tell me, I thought was not true, was true. Everything that I thought from 7 years old was true about a lot of stuff. And I said, what? That just proves that our own guidance system, our own intuition, our own ideas, the way that we want to live our life works for us, and we have to follow that. We cannot just follow the script that's been given to us, people. We have to make our own destiny. We have to make our own script at this point. We have to go on our own path away from all of this, because that's not going to save you. It's almost like I'm saying, you got to save yourself. You have to look, you got to find the knowledge. You got to put in those hours sometimes at night to read certain books, and learn how to triple your money and how to save money on this and that. I mean, sometimes you have to do that, because if you don't, they're going to keep taking from you. They're going to keep taking that money, and you're going to keep wondering why you're not getting ahead. And that's for majority of people. You know, once paying $1,000 in rent, now you're paying $3,500 in rent. I mean, it's absurd. It's in that scenario, they're never gonna make it, really. So it's a situation where you gotta live below your means. You gotta put your energy and time in things that matter. You know, don't be going to these 9-to-5 jobs, okay, and giving all your talent and your energy away. You know, that may sound a little controversial, but like, why build up somebody else's dream? You know, why use all your good energy and all your brain power for somebody else's empire? Use it for your own. You know, use it for your own family. Build up your own family legacy. Like, I will never, like, when I was young, I wasn't spiritually awakened like that. Like in high school, like I like when I first started college, I didn't have all this information. So I was like playing it by ear. You see what I'm saying? But if I knew then what I know now, I would have definitely not done a lot of stuff that I did for other businesses and whatever. Like, it didn't change my salary. It didn't change anything, you know, like it didn't. And in fact, when you're a really good worker, they just use you. That's all they do. When you're too good, they use it against you. So it's almost like it's better just kind of cruising by and building up your own business on the side, or doing what you love on the side, and making that passive income the income you live on. You see what I'm saying? Because as long as you're reliant upon them, you're never going to be free. As long as you keep burning out yourself. I mean, I don't want to step on anybody's toes, but I'm just telling you what I've learned, because I've been that person who's trying to work extra hard and fix everything, and I was that worker. Exactly. They will use you until they break you. Exactly. And guess what? Your work position will be open the next day. You pass away that night, your work position's open the next day. So I'm just telling y'all what I've learned and what we all know inherently, but I'm just repeating it so that it's in your mind. Like, do not go to these jobs, especially if you're not even getting paid $1 million. Don't go to these jobs giving all your energy, and then you have no energy for your kids. You have no energy for yourself. You can't even go to the gym. You can't even sleep properly. You can't even, build up your own portfolio. Like, don't be going to these 9-to-5 jobs giving all your good energy away. That's stupid. Like, unless it's what you want to do, right, and it's a good job, then by all means, burn yourself out. But for most people, that's not the case. They're not getting paid what they really deserve. They're working way harder than they should anyway, and they're trying to work even harder for the same money. I mean, it really is a joke. Yeah, it is a joke. So that's just my perspective today. Is like, do not be giving all your knowledge, your energy, your talent to any of these jobs, because they're not even paying you what you deserve. It's not like you can give your talent to these companies and you can tell them, I want $1 million a year. I want $3 million a year. And you're gonna live off maybe $200,000 a year. Maybe you're gonna, if you're making $2 to $3 million a year at a 9-to-5 job, can you imagine you'd be living off of like not even 1/3 of the income? And the rest would be for savings and investment and everything else. But no, the fridge is loud. One sec. But no, that's not what's happening. You're not demanding what you actually deserve. You're not actually going to be getting paid over $1 million a year. In what reality? It doesn't happen unless you're doing freelance or self-employment. Or contract work. That's a possibility. But I'm saying a regular 9-to-5 where you're on a salary, right, and you're having to depend on benefits and bonuses and all that, promotions and all this BS. That's not going to make you rich. I'm sorry to tell you, it's not going to make you rich. It's not. It's not. Because you have to forever answer to somebody else. So unless you go into a field where you can max your income, you can make unlimited income, that's the way to go. And that's what I'm personally working on. I'm working on an actual living life where I can max my income out as much as I want. And I'm not being capped, because a salary is a cap. They're telling you this is what we're paying you, and that's it. You're not going to get higher than that unless we give you a bonus or a promotion. This is your hourly rate. This is your salary. They're telling you how much you're worth. And if you went to Harvard and you're giving them a sprucey, resume, whatever they tell you they're going to pay is what they're paying you. They're not going to give you a dollar more. They're not going to give you a penny more, because they own you at that point. So that's the reality. That's the reality. People like in that situation, they're forever, and that's most people. That's most people. They're having to answer to somebody. And me personally, I've never liked that. I've never enjoyed that kind of life. And every time I've been in that position, I'm like, I'm not made to do this. I'm not made to live this kind of life. I'm not. I didn't come here on this planet for that. You know what I'm saying? But of course, like everybody else, like everybody else, I will do what I have to do, but I'm not going to be doing that forever. You see what I'm saying? Of course, we got to make sacrifices for what we got to take care of. But like my mentality is on a different level. Like I'm not even like after like sophomore year, I was off that. I really like, I remember still being in college. I was still in college earning my degree and everything else. And I knew very quickly on that this was a scam. I could see it. I'm like, wait, this is not going to do nothing. You know what I'm saying? You should be able to live comfortably. You go to college, you get a degree, any degree, you've worked hard, you paid your money, you paid your dues, you should be able to live lavish, in my opinion, because there's so much land, there's resources for all of us, and nobody should be in poverty. Nobody should be outcasted. Nobody. There should be a path forward for every human being. We should not be living this way. So that's what I feel. And so I just wanted to make this video. I was expecting to go pretty long today, but not this long. And I'm happy that I'm able to articulate my feelings. Like I said, I don't know if this video will get monetized, but if it doesn't get monetized, that is fine with me, truthfully, because I feel like the message in this video is bigger, and one day, way out in the future, this video needs to be here. This video needs to be heard. And I hope that everybody that's watched this video and will watch this video will begin to see the bigger picture here. People are letting these jobs, the system, burn them out. Why do you think that, for my age, people say, well, how come you look so young or whatever? Like, because you know why? Because I made a decision. I made a decision in sophomore year that I wasn't going to let people stress me out. Not in relationships, not a job, not the world, not life. I made a decision. After my spiritual awakening, I made a conscious decision that I was not going to live that way. Now, with work, I just refuse to stress myself out. I just refuse to feel like I'm trapped. I take it easy on myself. I can't always tell you all that I was easy on myself. I was a perfectionist at some point, and I'm still recovering perfectionist, but I see what's happening now. You see what I'm saying? I understand in its depth what's been happening now. And my mentality is totally different, because until I'm making the money that I want to make on my timetable, I'm not going to accept that chump change. I'm not going to worship it like a lot of Americans are worshiping a shit salary. I'm not going to bow down to it because it's not even what I deserve. I deserve more than that. You see what I'm saying? And will forever deserve more than what they want to pay people out here. So, if your rent is $4,000, your rent is almost $3,000, $2,800, whatever. What is $25 an hour going to do for you? What is even $33 an hour going to do for you? I mean, like, Like, really. And you're not even getting paid per week. Most people get paid every 2 weeks. So you're not even having access to your own money. Like, that is a game. If I ever saw one, that is a complete sham. Like, you can't even access your own money. Like, what is this? You know what I'm saying? For a typical job, like, what is that? So, no, like, no, no. You know, humanity could be an experiment. You know, there could be some other thing out there that is manipulating us and playing with us. And, you know, I've watched a lot of videos about the simulation theory and all that. I mean, even Elon Musk, you know, even Elon Musk has spoken about it, but that's kind of deep. That's too deep, I think, for today. But, you know, if you want to know what I'm talking about, you know, look it up. And that's the only thing that makes sense to me. You know what I'm saying? Is this kind of simulation where everything is just like a robotic world, you know, and it's like an experiment, you know, to see, you know, who we're gonna mess with, who we're gonna try to control today, you know, little on the chessboard of life, who we're gonna, you know, that's how it feels. So yeah, that's the solution. The solution is to not stress yourself out at these jobs. You know, stop giving them your good energy. Stop letting these people drain you at work. You know what I'm saying? You know, get your check and go. You know what I'm saying? Stop putting emotional energy into these shitty jobs. And even if the job is good, it's still not paying enough. It's still not paying you close to $1 million, so it obviously ain't good enough because you can't live off what you get now. Hardly. So, no, like, no. You know, make your own heaven. You know, make your own heaven on earth, you know, with your mind, you know. Forget dying trying to get to heaven, you know, create the heaven here. You know, visualize, manifest. You know, put your talent, your heart into something that matters to you. You know, and people will support you. But at the same time, you know, don't get caught up in the comparison game and all that. That's all manufactured to make you depressed, to make you want to hurt yourself. You know, those are all symptoms of not being awakened. When you awaken, all those things that you used to feel and exhibit will not exist. The comparison game will stop. The jealousy will stop. For some people deal with jealousy. You know, thank you so much. Thank you so much, love. You know, all of that will stop. You know what I'm saying? All of that will stop. But it's got to be an awakening. You know, it has to be a personal awakening where you realize, hold up, you know, I'm getting played right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to keep living like this. You know, you got to get to a point where you're just sick and tired of being sick and tired. And then hopefully something in life will just open, like the door will just open for you, and you'll be able to walk through and say, okay, this is the path for me. But never just believe what they're telling you. You know, maybe not even what your parents told you. I mean, I'll put it this way. If your parents are not sound financially and they're not super healthy and they're not living their dreams, what can you really learn from them? You know what I'm saying? I mean, some people's family and parents are their biggest downfall because they have been brainwashed with these old ideals, you know, and they're not getting anywhere. They have not gone anywhere. So if they've not gone anywhere and they're telling you to do the same thing, where's that going to lead you? The same place that they've got to. So you gotta seek out mentors. You gotta seek out books. You gotta seek out information that your parents have never even probably exposed people to. You see what I'm saying? Like, you've got to seek it out. Everything that I've learned, I've had to seek out. Majority. Like, I've had to think outside the box. I've had to leave the box, in fact. I've had to, like, really search for it, you know? And then because of conditioning and religion, some people are too afraid to ask the big questions. Some people are afraid to question God. They're afraid to question society. They're afraid to question reality. And you can't be afraid to question reality. You cannot be afraid. You have to go out into the deep and get the truth. You can't stay by the bayside twiddling your thumbs and expect to get out of the rat race, expect to leave the plantation. You know what I'm saying? You can't expect that because all they're going to do is treat you like a slave because you're just a worker to them. You're just a busy bee. You're not an asset to them. No matter if you're making 100K or 10K, you're a worker. We're workers. And until you play chess and you flip it and you reverse it and you leave emotionally all that behind, you can't get free. You have to understand the game they're playing on people. You have to understand the brainwashing, the absolute brainwashing, pitting people against each other. Not the ones behind the curtain, I'm saying regular people, like good people, you know, neighbors, for example. Like, you got to see it from that perspective. We are a family. We are a community. We have to put each other on game. We have to enrich each other to not fall for the same tricks. We have to learn a lot of knowledge, a lot of information. We have to read. We have to apply the information. We have to go off and leave all that behind and say that there's something better. There's a different way to live. And I'm going to get it. I'm either going to help create that change or I'm going to live that change. That's the mentality that I have now. You know, is that I am not going to live a life where I'm giving my all to a job for a cap salary or what, or even if it's a sales job, it doesn't matter. I'm not gonna, it's still a cap because you can't make $1 million. I mean, most jobs you can't make $1 million. So you're still like climbing the ladder. You see what I'm saying? So even if you get to that point, you still have to have a certain amount of knowledge to not go back into poverty, to not go back into living paycheck to paycheck. You know what I'm saying? You honestly have to go out away from what they're just telling you. You know, start researching what these companies make and then what you make. No matter what skin color you have, no matter what gender you are, no matter what sexuality you are, look up these corporations. Ask the tough questions. How much are they getting paid a year? How much are you earning for this company? And then how much are you getting paid? And is that fair? And the answer will always be no. No. So it's time. It's time for people to understand that the game is rigged, but there is still a way to live prosperously and to help other people before it's too late. Places where people are spending $3,000 on rent, $4,000 on rent, $8,000 on rent, and they're making just above minimum wage, they got to get out of that, okay? A lot of people live like that. They're not going to be able to progress because they don't have extra income to invest in themselves. If they're putting all their money to rent and they don't own the apartment, they're just renting the apartment, they're never going to get ahead. And so that's the mentality that I'm speaking about. You know, because everybody else is doing it, it must be right. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. You know, if you live below your means, you'll always have more money. You know, I've even had I'm not telling y'all things that I have not had to learn or that I've not had to reprogram myself. You know, I'm not telling y'all anything that I have not done from personal experience. So why should only, 1 to 3% live how all of us should live? Why is that? Why should we live in a dystopia where only they say 1 to 5, it's really 1 to 3, live how everybody should live just by nature, just inherently? Why should we accept that? And then you have somebody like Kanye who's saying, look over here, they're hiding. In fact, he even was saying how him and Jay-Z were told to keep quiet. They learned a lot from being in the industry. They learned a lot of financial literacy. And in one of the interviews I saw recently, he said that they told him to not say nothing about it, because he said that we should stay rich and they should stay poor. I bet they won't put that on Twitter or TV, but he said it. I heard it. And other people who are entrepreneurs who know certain people, they say the same thing. They tell people, don't open your mouth, because we only need to be up here and everybody else down here. And they told them that for a reason. They threatened their life for a reason, because they don't want people to actually realize what they are and what they have by God-given right. They don't want people to know this stuff. So that's the reality. A lot of those people up there, they could have been helped people. They could have been told they could have been shared information, bro. They just a lot of them are threatened, or they're so caught up where they can't, or that maybe they don't even want to, because they say, well, I have the information, so I'm gonna go on my yachts and be my penthouses, and y'all can just suffer down there. That's what they're basically saying. And to me, that's just blasphemous, because you're supposed to love one another. You're supposed to be the actual representation of God, like love. God should be love, but that's clearly not what's happening. But we should all be love in the flesh, But that's not what's happening at all, is it? That's what's not happening at all. So everything I said, I think, is only going to hit the surface of what the real issue is and what's really happening. Everything that I'm saying, I think, is just the tip of the iceberg. I don't even think that everything that I even know that I'm even sharing with you all, I really don't even think that it's really the full story. I really don't. I think it's just like the tip of the iceberg, really. I think that everything that is really happening is a lot worse, and it's not just in America, it's a global thing. It's a world thing, it's a dimension thing. And until these people that have all this power and influence, until they stand up, until they're able to tell the truth about a lot of stuff, this is going to keep happening and keep happening and keep happening. And as a humanity, we're not really going to get anywhere. We're not going to really have anything to show for it in the next generations. So I just genuinely feel like it's all about choices. If you got to work a regular job, make as much as you can, save it, invest it, find ways to better yourself. But like I said, if they're going to keep rising the prices of living and food, you're still trapped, right? Like if they're going to keep raising the prices, you still have to eat. You still have to you still got to pay bills. So there's not a lot that can be done at that point, but still, at least you'll have retirement money. At least you'll have something. At least if you get in a pickle, you have some money. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a rat race. It really is. So it's a shame that so many leaders and so many people that have spoken out are no longer with us. A lot of people that were in Hollywood and had power, they're not with us anymore. They've taken them out of the game. They're not here with us. They're gone. And that is a shame, because we need as many people as we can get. You know, we need people that can speak up. We need people in high places who can put an end to a lot of tragedy. And until that happens, respectfully, it's not going to change. You know, but the worst thing that I think a person can do is get in a bunch of debt in college. That's one of the that's the first step to poverty, in my opinion, is never paying back your debt, never being able to get ahead, you know, having a dead end job, and then you have nothing to show for it. You can't move up, you know. And for those who just joined, just keep in mind, you know, I worked 3 jobs from high school through college. I've always worked. There was not a second in college that I did not work. Was it easy? Hell no. Getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. I mean, I paid my dues. You know, I paid my dues. When I was in high school, going into college, both actually, college and high school, I always worked. Everything I ever earned, ever had, I worked for. You see what I'm saying? So, but as soon as I got to a point where I didn't want to work a certain wage job, or I didn't want to do that, I move to the next. I walk away. I find something better, because I'm not gonna lowball myself like that. You see what I'm saying? With or without a degree, I'm not gonna let people lowball me. So you've got to basically know who you are. You know, spend time with yourself, spend time getting to know yourself. And then once that has been solidified, you'll be able to find ways to make your life easier. But yeah, don't waste all your energy, you know, working for somebody else, and then you have no energy for yourself or your family or people you love. I mean, that's not the point, but that's how people are living. You know, that's how most people are living. But, you know, it's how it is. But, you know, where you're blessed, where you're prospering, thank God. You know, I thank God every single day that I may have not been super aware in high school, but in college, I damn sure was. Especially on sophomore year is when I really just like woke up. And I was like, you know what? I see what's going on here. You know, and you know, some people awaken when they're 30 or 40 or 50, or maybe some people they just never really get there. You know what I'm saying? But videos like this and other information out there like this will help people understand that, you know, there is better. You know, we may all be trapped, but you know what? There's still a choice. We can still try to make choices that are going to help ourselves. And if we can't even do that, then it's doomed. So we have to think that way. We have to push forward, or we're in a constant battle. We have to. So I really hope that, you know, somebody out here is able to understand before it's too late. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't just follow the script. You know, research everything, and be able to give your energy to yourself. Even if you're at a job you hate, learn to conserve your energy. There was many times in my life where I've worked jobs where I was just drained. Get up feeling like a zombie, you know, just totally spent. And I still feel like that some days, truthfully. But when you get to that point, it's time for an awakening. It's time to understand that, you know what, this is a game. It's a game. And you know what, in order for me to live long and me to be healthy, I can't stress it. And this is why I think so many people that are like in their 60s or whatever, you know, some people that I listen to, that I watch, you know, they're like in their 60s, but they look like they're like in their late 30s. And they look so good. And I'm like, wow, it's because they have these principles of like, I'm not going to let life get me down. I'm not going to let life beat me. Like this one preacher I listened to, he's like 64. I thought he was like 38. And he is Asian. I'm not going to say his name for intensive purposes, but you know, I was like, wow. And all he teaches about is like faith and grace and, you know, being easy on yourself, not being so hard on yourself, not letting life beat you like to a pulp. You know what I'm saying? Like not letting things get to you. You know, okay, you're on social media and you see all this negativity, unplug, you know, delete the app, take a break. I've been saying this like even before my whole birthday week, a lot of days I was not on social media. And I was actually the happiest because I wasn't reading all these sad stories every day. You see what I'm saying? So there's little things you can do here and there that's going to preserve your energy, preserve your health, because health is wealth, spiritually as well. It's when you are protecting your aura, you're protecting your energy, and you're not letting people drain you. And so I had to learn this. I had to learn that, okay, it's not cool. It's not cool to let customers or my boss or whoever beat me down. It's not okay for me to accept that. So when I get home, I take a shower and I chill. I relax. I don't think about a million and one things, because how is that going to help me? If I want to keep looking young, well, in my 40s, not even close to 40, I'm saying when I get to 40, when I get to 60, I can't be letting these people get me down. I gotta remain cool and calm. I gotta be collected. You see what I'm saying? I can't let these people, you know, some people are like in their 30s looking like they're 50, and 50 is not even a bad age, but they're looking like way older because they let people get to them. They let too many people get in their head about, oh, you gotta do this, oh, you gotta do that, oh, get a master's degree. Like, it's all question everything. Question everything. Question everything. Even people that, you know, their parents have this influence. Okay, your parents may not know everything. Even I'm speaking for myself. Sometimes parents will put people on the wrong path because they think it's what's best for the child, but then the child is not only suffering, but a hot mess, because their application, their understanding of the world is not their child's reality. They're trying to apply what they lived to now and telling their child X, Y, and Z, but we're living in a whole different age. Most people's parents and family are not in your shoes. They're not in your shoes. Right? So you gotta think for yourself. You gotta trust yourself. You gotta believe in yourself at that point. And yes, it's scary. Of course it's scary. It's always gonna be scary. But you gotta have that unwavering faith, that unwavering, unshakable core feeling of strength. Even when you're tired, in your spirit, you must be strong. You could be physically weak. I'm not feeling the best right now. I mean, I'm just motivated to speak to y'all. You know, I'm motivated to speak to y'all right now because it's what's on my heart. And it's a topic that I need to address because what I saw yesterday was some bullshit. But, you know, that passion to speak to you all is why I'm so energized. But let me tell you, I have a stomach ache. I was sneezing twice off camera in this one video. I'm not feeling 100% well. I too am beaten down, but I'm not showing it because I care about y'all. And I'm trying to literally make a point. You see what I'm saying? That you gotta have unshakable faith in yourself. You can't let life, even if it's rigged, get you down. The system gets you down. And if anything, Kanye is teaching us all that. You gotta stand for something or you will fall for anything. And that's just like the principle, you know, like in the face of adversity, you have to know who you are. What they call you is not what you are. What you answer to is what they perceive you are. So if somebody's calling you a racial slur, what do you answer to? Do you answer to those racial slurs? Do you answer to those stereotypes? Do you answer that? Or do you answer to who God said that you are? Do you answer to what you believe that you are? Do you believe you're strong? Do you believe you're more than a conqueror? Do you see yourself as a multimillionaire? Do you see yourself as giving generational wealth? Do you see yourself as healthy and strong spiritually? Yes. And how does the world say you are? The world says you're a slave. The world says you're stupid. The world says that you're not educated enough. You're not pretty enough. You're not slim enough. You're not skinny enough. You're not tall enough. You're not wealthy enough. That's what the world says. But that's not what you answer to. So when you're being disrespected, you walk away. You don't even have to respond. You just walk away. I'm speaking from experience. I've been in positions where I'm like, you don't even know who I am. You don't even know who I am. To their face. I have been in positions where I had to tell all the success I've had. I still have to tell people, you don't know me. You think in your mind what you've been told to believe who I am. I'm telling you that's not who I am. Get it right and respect me. I've had to do that in real life because they got me fucked up out here. So I'm just telling y'all, stand up for yourself, man. I'm surprised that people have not even protested the prices, inflation, the gas prices. I can't believe that people haven't even protested this shit. And it's getting worse and worse and worse. And ain't nobody got no damn backbone to go out on the street and say, what the hell? You know, I'm not going to pay $8, $9 for no damn milk. A gallon of milk. Are y'all crazy? Like, man, but you see, it's just the conditioning that, oh, if I do that, I'm going to get arrested. If I do that, I'm going to get in trouble with the law. Like, you see how they play you? Like, no. That's the game. That's how the game is. So I don't always feel 1,000%. I don't always feel motivated in life. I don't always feel like, you know, I can make it through the whole day without feeling sad or whatever, but like I still push through. And that's what I want all of y'all to do as well, is keep pushing through. It may not be fair, it may not be right, but it is the reality right now. And we have to create our own reality. Every single one of us individually, we have to manifest. We have to visualize. We have to have high energy. We have to be strong. This is not the time to be weak. This is definitely not the time to buckle. This is a time to raise our voices, to push forward, and stand up for our rights. That's what this time is for. And if the pandemic ain't shown that, I don't know what will. But we keep moving forward, y'all. We all do the best we can. You know what I'm saying? I do the best I can. You know, some days I am just absolutely over it. I will tell you all the truth. Some days I am like, this is some beyond BS. And I don't want to play this game no more. But then I realized, you know what? Until God takes me out of here naturally, I ain't going nowhere. You know, I ain't going to be like some people who they want to hurt themselves for what? Like, I'm strong until the very end. I'm going to finish this marathon strong. I'm going to finish the game of life strong. You hear me? I'm not going to let it get to me because I am strong within. The flesh will always be weak. The body, the physical body will always get tired. But when you train your mind and when you train your body, you're able to work your way out of that. You're able to withstand every storm that comes. So thank you all for watching. This is the message. I think it's probably over a 2-hour video. Ain't that smish? I know the replay watchers are going to love this one. So thank you all for watching. Of course, there is ways to support by subscribing, thumbsing up, shows me you care about the video. The message is, you know, is needed. And I'm really happy I made this video. Thank you all for watching. Stay safe, take care, stay strong, remain mentally strong, and research. You know what I'm saying? With every decision, stop and think about it. Relationship, job, money, career, family, religion. Do your own research. Don't just believe what people tell you or what the media tells you or even your parents, because they may not have the best path for you, the best information for you. We all have to do our own homework. We all have to figure it out. Until we're all gone off this chessboard, we all got to figure it out. We all have to live our own path the best way we know how. So I love y'all, really, seriously. I hope that this really, enrich somebody to keep going. Yes, life is hard. Yes, life can be complex. But guess what? Through manifestation and visualization and meditation, there is a way out. And that way out is detachment. That way out is realizing who you are and not settling and not letting things in life shake you up and get you down, because the day will arise again. The sun will come tomorrow. Every day is a new day. You know what I'm saying? And just make the most of it. All right, love y'all.